As we know it very well in server-side state management technique, we have session state, application state. Okay, so let us see what is this session state. See, I have an architecture over here. Mm, Here web clients are there, so many clients. Okay, client 1, client 2 and n number of clients will interact with the web server through HTTP protocol, and here the load balancer will be there which balance the request and okay, which balance the request of the clients and forward it to the respective web servers. So here it forwards to the respective web servers. Here at the web server will be having something like session storage. Okay, ASP.NET session storage. Here at the web server we can store some data in the form of sessions. Okay, so a unique ID will be generated for every client for the first time when client request to the web server. For the first time only a unique ID called as session ID will be generated to that particular client, and it will be carried out until the client is logged out. Okay, so here the ASP.NET session storage will be there, and we can see the data stores will be there and web services will be there. That's a different case. So the main concept of today's session is here, session storage. A session is an object on server having key value pairs. Okay, as we have seen for view state, cookies, query string, okay, hidden field, key value pairs. So it is session is an object on the server having key value pairs created on the server on behalf of every client. Every client will have a session. Okay, its key value pair. This object is created on the first request from the client, and the same object is reused for all subsequent requests by that client. So for the first time only, when you are starting for a particular session, at the time only your session ID will be created, and that will be carried out, okay, for all the subsequent requested. In session, key value pair is of type string and object. So key is of type string, value is of type object. You can store any type of data, it means. Unlike cookies, where you can store only string type of data, but session allows you to store any type of data, because the data type of value is object, and hence in session we can store any type of data. Unlike cookies, okay, also session can store any amount of data. Yeah, cookies are limited in number and limited in size. Okay, but session unlimited, you can have unlimited key value pairs. So when a new session is created, a unique ID is assigned to it, and the same is rendered in response as a non-persistent cookie. Okay, when a new session is created, a unique ID will be assigned to it. So same will be rendered as a non-persistent cookie every time. Okay, the cookie which automatically destroyed when you close the browser will be rendered. With all subsequent requests, the browser includes this cookie, and ASP.NET uses it for deciding about which session object to be used for that client. There is timeout period defined for every session. Okay, there is a timeout period defined for every session. What is that? The default is 20 minutes. What does it mean? Very important. See, when I start using any application, ASP.NET application, if I leave that particular application idly for 20 minutes, so automatically my session is going to be destroyed. Okay, sometimes I need to relog in that particular application after some duration. So the default time is 20 minutes. What this 20 minutes is nothing but from the last request sent to the web server. Okay, if the time after the last request by the client exceeds the timeout period, then the session corresponding to that client is automatically destroyed on the server. So this 20 minutes what we are talking is about is nothing but, suppose in an ASP.NET web application I just logged in, and I leave that particular application like that only without sending any request to the web server. After 20 minutes when I am coming and when I am sending a request, it will ask me to log in again because my session is destroyed automatically. Okay, the default is 20 minutes. If we want, we can increase the time duration. A session is not immediately destroyed if the browser instance is closed on the client. Okay, see, for an example, we have so many real-time applications. If I logged into Facebook without logout, I just close the browser. Even though when I start browser after that, and when I start facebook.com, the observation what will be there is nothing but I don't need to log in again. Facebook page will be open me directly because my session is not destroyed. So to destroy a session, the timeout period should be there, or either we need to destroy programmatically. Okay, a session is not immediately destroyed if the browser instance is closed on the client. Yeah.
Mr. Fazal, is this 20 minutes like it's a standard, or we can modify it or set a lesser time or something like that?
We can modify the lesser time, we can modify for a long period also.
Okay.
Okay, this is the default we are saying.
Okay.
Okay,
Like,
and the point should be very clear that what is this 20 minutes, how it going to works. The 20 minutes is not like I just started with a application, I have to use 20 minutes. No, from the last request sent to web server it will count from there. Okay, so even though if I close the browser instance also, the session is corresponding to me in the sense to that particular client will not be destroyed even if the browser is closed, because the browser does not update the server when it is closed, and thus ASP.NET Server keeps the session for the timeout period even though it is not anymore useful. So what ASP.NET Server does is nothing but it will keeps that particular session for the timeout period 20 minutes, whatever the default, whatever we mentioned at the time of development. Okay, the session can be destroyed either programmatically or timeout period. So we can
So for Facebook, the ASP.NET server will be fixed.
no, we are talking about ASP.NET applications, we are not talking about any. Facebook is not an ASP.NET application. Getting Subha, we are talking about 20 minutes for ASP.NET applications. We are talking about ASP.NET server.
So, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll tell you about the example. See,
Yeah.
Facebook, just now you logged in, okay, and you'd have just browsed some of the comments and all those things. So okay, you have seen. Then you have got some work. You went to the work. After 1 or 2 hours, you came back. Okay, then you are trying to access some information.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, you are saying that home, or you are reloading the page. It will give you. Okay, it will give you, because the timeout period what Facebook is mentioned is different when compared with an ASP.NET application.
Right. Okay.
Okay, if that was an ASP.NET application, and when
Mm-hmm.
you are coming back after 20 minutes, it will ask you to log in.
Right.
That particular browser is not identifying you after some time. Okay, because your details have been destroyed from the server. Again you
Okay.
need to log in, and again the session ID will be created, again the session ID will be carried out for that time.
Okay.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
are talking about ASP.NET applications, and the time is nothing but from the last request sent to web server.
Yeah.
Okay, last request important, try to understand. Here the area ASP.NET session storage, this area, it will have the data in it. You can store some information at web server. with the name session to that particular client.
Are you moving your screen?
Yes. So here the information will be stored about that particular client, whatever it may be. Any amount of data you can store here, okay, for a timeout period, whatever you mention. So we are talking about 20 minutes in ASP.NET applications. That is the default. Okay. For it depends on the application. So we cannot say all the ASP.NET applications will have a timer period 20 minutes. If you are not mentioning it, by default it will be 20 minutes. But if I want my client should explore it more, it should be available every time, and I'll store the data of it. So I'll give some timeout period, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever I want. Like in so many applications right now, we'll use Facebook in a phone. So we'll just logged in and just live like that only 24 hours. Will not give any request to Facebook for 3 hours, 4 hours. Even though the Facebook application is not asking us after that time, give me your login details one more time. Because it depends on the application how they are maintaining the session state of that particular client. Okay. Finally, it depends on the developer how he is going to use the storage for the clients. Getting?
So, uh, can I ask you?
Yeah.
So you mean to say that when you have an mobile app,
Hmm?
for that the session, the default value is kept for a couple of days or something like that?
Might be.
Might be.
Okay.
Okay.
It might be. It depends. Okay. Not even mobile app. I'll give the application itself, web browser application.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like the example I have given you of Gmail. Even the power shutdowns also uh, when you're starting for that particular
So
application
you
in a
close the browser and you go
yeah
back again. Again.
yeah
Yeah, you said that.
it has to be dependent on that browser only.
Okay.
Okay, suppose I use Chrome, I logged in Gmail, immediately power shut down. Then after power came, I need to open Chrome only. If I open Internet Explorer, the session data cannot be shared by different browsers like cookies. Okay, so if you open that browser and if you open that particular website, it will remember you for some time, because the browser does not update to the web server. This client is no more available unless you click on the logout button. Okay. Yeah, here assigned to a variable to the my variable session variable. So see, this is the case. The assigning some value how we can store in a session is nothing but give the session, okay, in the session property, then use the key whatever you want, save the value, some value. It can be object, not string, any type of value, object, but key should be string. Retrieve the value from the session. See here, if session of not equals to null, session of my value in a string format. So it is important to remember that session variables are now objects. Thus, to avoid a runtime error, we should typecast also.